The railroad industry lost a giant over the weekend with news of the passing of Hunter Harrison. Harrison turned around 3 railroad carriers during his 5-decade career and was in the middle of another one at CSX. He'll be replaced on an interim basis by Jim Foote, who arrived less than 2 months ago. Joining us now from our Princeton bureau is Bloomberg Intelligence senior analyst Lee Klaskow. Lee, talk a little bit about Hunter Harrison and what he did, his legacy. He was a railroad legend. We know that from his long career. He was also a disruptor, wasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was. He was credited in part turning around Canadian National. He came to Canadian National through an acquisition that Canadian National made with the Illinois Central. And what he really did is he helped transform Canadian National into one of the most profitable railroads. Not only that, but probably one of the most profitable industrials out there, from a company that earned maybe a couple hundred basis points in margins to mid-40s operating margins, which is pretty impressive for a sleepy industry like the railroad industry. And he really put the railroad industry, took them out of its long dormant nap and turned them into great cash flow generators that they are today.
What did he possess in terms of his understanding of the industry, his skill, that made him so desirable? Because, of course, at CSX, he famously held out for a salary that was over $80 million, and shareholders deemed that to be worth it. What was it that he could bring to the table that the rest of the industry didn't see in other executives out there?
Right. What he was really known for was precision railroading, which was a different way of operating a railroad. Railroads used to build long, heavy trains and let them go. And then Hunter Harrison came along and said it would be better if we were able to manage these assets better, continuing to turn them over as quickly as we possibly can, but also with a degree of reliability when those assets are needed, so that he right-sized the networks and he really made them into profit generators. And that was different than what was being done before. And he did that at Canadian National. It took years for that transformation to take place. He did that at Canadian Pacific. It took him about 18 months for that transformation. And unfortunately, at CSX, he only had 10 minutes to do his precision railroading there. And that's a much different network. CP and CN, they're more linear networks, which go from point A to B, where CSX is more of a web and has its own complications along with that. Management is telling the street that they are far along in that transition, where they've really turned the ship a lot quicker than they had at CP or CN, but I guess only really time will tell if that's the case.